It is time for your favorite Android podcast from the crew of blindandroidusers.com. Kick back and enjoy another fine episode from these Google fanboys as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello and welcome to episode 52 of the Blind Android Users podcast. I'm Ed Green and I'm joined this week by Warren Carr, Austin Pinto, Doug Cameron and Fee Dunn. And we're recording on Saturday the 4th of December 2021. This week we have announcements from Austin. Our must-have app category this week is screen recorders, and we'll be bringing you several demos. And Warren concludes the episode with his highlights from Talkback. Well, how are we all doing, everybody? Doug, what's happening in Alberta?
Other than entering into a deep freeze, it's not too bad. The Pixel has gone to the graveyard.
Hey!
That's mean.
Yeah, just been setting up my new phone, Samsung Galaxy S20 FE. Pretty decent.
Same as me.
So yeah, it's been pretty decent.
Excellent. Sounds good. Ifona, what's happening not that far away from me?
It's cold. It's probably not as cold, but it's cold. But I made myself go out for a walk today. But yeah. Yeah. So I've got that phone as well. It's Samsung Galaxy S20 FE. So It's a great phone. Yeah, other than that, lots of musical Christmassy things and churchy things to get ready to do Advent and Christmas. So quite busy at the moment.
Excellent. Sounds good. Mumbai, Austin, is it well?
Yeah, is it like very well? Mumbai has seen a change in weather from summer season to rains to now winter season in this span of 1 week. We are at 21 or 20 degrees Celsius, so it's getting nice and cold now. But we have seen all the 3 seasons of the year in the past 1 week.
Sounds good. And Warren, what's going on in Washington State?
So we have a little bit of a cold spell going on. I think we're sitting at 22 degrees, and so it's beautiful. Yet in the same breath, you don't want to be upside out. It's not too bad because this time of year, usually we're talking about sub-zero temps, but actually this is good. So I'm sitting in here, chatting with you guys, and of course, always drinking my tea, although I don't have one going now, but I'm glad and thankful to God, Julia's feeling better, and nice to see her going back to work this past Tuesday. So something to be thankful for, and I am very thankful. Thank you to every one of you guys out there praying for us, and thank you so much.
Oh, it's great she's on the mend and back in work as well. For us, it's been all sorts of kiddie-wink Christmas fairs. So the school had one yesterday. It's a church school, so the church it's connected to had one today. So all sorts of games and kids running around, and happily pub afterwards today. Well, now it's time for our announcements. Austin, what you got?
Not much in the form of announcements. We are only 14 days away from our 1-year celebration. So everyone, please start registering for that. It will be live today. So if you cannot fill the form, you can email us at contactus@blindandroidusers.com. Anyway, we'll do. So you can register, and then we will send you a new link, not a Zoom link. This is a new. So 2-3 days before the 1-year party, we will send you the link, and you can join the recording. It's on 18th at 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, 12 Eastern, 5 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time in the evening, sort of standard time for our stuff. Do join us; it'd be brilliant. Saturday before Christmas, bit of a knees up 1-year celebration.
And I would add that if you're coming to the party, you need to bring a gift to the staff of Blind Android Users podcast.
I will bring my sparkling company. That'll be a gift for you.
Oh, goodness. But absolutely, we're looking forward to seeing you guys. Episode 50 was just a blast with you all, and we're looking forward to a repeat of the same thing and actually make this one grander.
Yeah, it'll be great. And great to see everyone in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
Now we have the next in our must-have apps categories, and this week it's screen recorders. We covered voice recorders a few weeks ago. I think a few of our listeners will know what screen recorders do, but Warren, why might you want a screen recorder instead of just a standard voice recorder? What are they?
So when we talk about screen recorders, we're talking about the ability to capture what is going on live on the screen, especially if you're touching an area or something of that nature, and in the same breath, be able to capture the sound that is coming from the phone if that's what you choose to do. Certain apps would let you record the audio that's coming from them, and certain apps will not let the screen recorder capture those sounds. But for those of us who are blind, especially, screen recorders are of great importance. And here's my reasoning as to why that is. You have a developer that has an app that has some accessibility issues, and you're reporting those issues to that person. It is important to point out the areas that you're having those issues with so they could see exactly where you're touching and therefore know exactly what's going on. Therefore, to be honest, screen recorders become very important when you're sending out a report or reporting something to a developer with an accessibility issue. So we should find which ones are the most important or easier to use screen recorders that capture exactly what we're trying to show the developer as to what we need fixed with his or her app. So screen recorders, very important. And if you're a gamer, you could do that because you could capture that and also share it with people so people know what to do. Besides, some of them also can let you do live broadcasts, say on YouTube or Twitch or whatever platform it is. And so screen recorders have been with us for a while, and it's a shame that natively some of the phones don't have that, and I think every phone should have a screen recorder.
So is it basically a video recorder for what's going on your phone?
It is a video recorder, but some will also allow you to do only audio if that's what you want.
How does it know where you're touching the screen? How does it show where you're touching the screen to the person? Do they see a pointer or something where you touch the screen? Do you know how that's represented to them?
Yes, because what happens when you're touching a screen, every time you touch a screen or touch a part of the screen, that place is highlighted. And so the focus is on that. And so that's how that shows. So, and hence the reason why I would say if you're going to be reporting something, make sure it's not something that you're typing in your username and password, because it's going to show what keys you're touching and all of that. So be careful when you're reporting something that involves you typing in username and passwords. I wouldn't do those when I'm doing a screen recorder.
No, it's not. I mean, it's recording a video, but it's not using your cameras. It's like the video equivalent of a screenshot, I suppose, where a screenshot is a still, and it will capture your screen as it changes. Is that effectively it?
Yeah. So it's a real time thing. So it's absolutely just like you're doing something real time, and it's when you touch any part of the screen, it shows. It's very fluid. And some would allow you to do that internal recording. So if I say, hey, I'm just going to capture the internal sound from blind Android users on YouTube, or particular clip on YouTube from blind Android users, and I don't want my talkback to be in there, and I don't want my voice to be in there, then I could just choose internal recording. So think of it like maybe back in those days, you have like a cassette recorder with a radio, and you want to record something from that radio internal recording, so it's not capturing your voice. And yet in the same breath, there are some that would allow you to record both at the same time simultaneously. And sometimes I find that doing that can sound a little bit echoey or whatever. I think that prime example would be, I'm trying to think which one that is, but I think maybe I can't remember that particular app, but yeah, I tried that. It just doesn't sound good. So if you're doing internal recording, just choose internal recording. But if you're doing a mic recording, then just choose the mic recording so that you can hear both your screen reader and your voice and whatever sound the speaker is playing as well.
I guess that would be useful for if you're talking someone through and saying, this bit works fine, this bit works fine, but it's when I get to this bit that something goes wrong, so that you're letting them know that you know where the problem is and you're not reporting something that should happen as a bug, for example.
You are correct. And also, it's a good tutorial. So if you have a friend and you're trying to show him or her how to use something that they're struggling with, so that most especially if they're blind, and so they're able to hear what you are doing, and if they can see, they can also see where you're touching things. And so I really like screen recorders. So to that effect, I have recorded a couple of these. I got the AZ recorder, and I have that screen recorder that I talked about. And that is coming from some developer called SignitiveSoft or something like that. It's such an embarrassment. I can't even pronounce the name of the developer. But I would like to show you my demonstration first with the AZ recorder. And here's AZ recorder. This is demonstrating AZ recorder. Your screen reader may call it Arizona screen recorder. I will be demonstrating this on an older device on Pixel 2 XL for maximum compatibility. I will also be using the Kindra voice from the back then Bright Voice technologies that Amazon has hogtied. I've opened up the AZ recorder, and in normal circumstances, if you're starting for the first time, you'll go through all those permissions and things like that, allowing it to record audio, allowing it to record video, and all of that. And by default, when you get into it, you're placed in the video tab. There are 3 tabs at the top, the video tab at the top left, followed by screenshots in the middle, and on the right-hand corner is the settings. At the bottom is the record button. I'll take you through the settings because that's probably the most important thing here that we need to know. Here now I'll put my finger near the top right corner and tap Settings.
Settings, tab, Settings, selected, page 3 of 3.
Upon tapping on Settings, here are the items that we find in Settings.
Video configuration,
We have Video Configuration,
resolution, 1280 by 720,
Next.
bitrate, auto,
You could tap here and change it.
frame rate, auto,
You could tap and change it or just leave it on auto.
orientation, portrait,
And you can change it if you want it in landscape. I do prefer mine in a portrait mode. And after all, this is just a screen recorder.
time lapse, video speed, disable,
Next.
record audio, enable, disable audio, switch, on,
Record audio. You need to turn that on.
audio source, microphone,
And here you could tap to go change. Let's tap and see what we have.
audio source, button close, button, out of list,
Tapping on the audio source, here are the items we find.
microphone, checked, in list, internal audio,
There's the internal audio
cancel, out of list,
or cancel.
a screen recorder, settings, audio source, microphone, in list,
Let's keep going.
output directory, /storage/emulated/0/as recorder free internal storage, 2317 and 37 seconds can be recorded. Fix green screen, only enable if you have green screen problem, switch, OFF. Control options,
And here are the control options. In other words, whether you want it controlled from within the notification center or you want to show a little bubble that you can control it through and all of that. So here are the options.
hide the record window during recording, only use the notification bar to control recording, switch, OFF. Use magic button, an invisible button that does everything, switch, OFF. Stop options, notification, shake device.
So here we could tap here to say, hey, if I shake the device, then stop my recording. Let's go here and see what I mean.
Stop options, stop on screen off,
You could have stop on turning off the screen or
stop on shake, shake device to stop recording, switch, on, Enable time limit. Stop recording when time out. Switch. OFF. Time limit. Unlimited.
And that's the last thing. Let's go back.
Disable pop-up window after screenshot. Switch. OFF.
In other words, if you leave this in the state that it's in now, that is in the off position, whenever you're done with recording, it'll pop up a message saying your recording has been saved, and it will offer you to either delete or even go ahead and play it right away. I leave mine in the off position so I could quickly access that recording if I want to share it or whatever the case may be.
Countdown before start. Switch. On.
A countdown,
Countdown value. 3s.
3 seconds.
Recording toolbox.
Recording toolbox. There are a lot of things in here, including live recording and all of that. You could transmit live on YouTube and all of that.
Screenshot. Switch. OFF.
Screenshot is turned off.
Camera. Switch. OFF.
In other words, if you turn this on, it's off by default. If you turn it on, then it'll have a little front-facing camera that you can record yourself and show yourself in there while you're doing the recording. Next item.
Brush. Switch. OFF.
Brush, that's if you want to use your hand in doing some brushing, and that's not important to those of us who are blind.
Text and logo. No text or logo is shown.
You could choose to include a logo or text that shows up in the recording.
Show touches.
What this means is that if I'm trying to report a problem, most especially with accessibility to a developer, he or she should be able to see the area that I'm touching that has the accessibility problem. And therefore, that is very important, most especially if you're trying to show where an app has a problem. And now that we're done with that, we should go back, but you don't want to hit the back button, because if you hit the back button, it'll take you out of the app. So what you want to do is to tap on the video tab, and that will close you out of these settings. In other words, tap either on the video tab or on the screenshot tab, and it'll take you out. I'm going to tap on the video tab.
Videos. Tab. 1 of videos. Selected. Page 1 of 3.
There we go. So I'm now in videos and I'm now ready to record. At the bottom right, we have the record button. So I'm going to tap on that.
Record. Button. Out of. Start recording or casting with a screen recorder. A screen recorder will have access to all of the information that is visible on your screen or played from your device while recording or casting. This includes information such as passwords, payment details, photos, messages, and audio that you play.
And that's it. And I'm going to tap on the start toward the bottom.
Start now. Button. A screen recorder. Videos. Record. Image.
So it counts 3 seconds. And now I'm going to go back to home.
Pixel. Folder.
So here I am recording. I went back home and I'm recording.
Folder. Miscellaneous. 4 or more items.
Now I'm going to shake the phone to stop the recording.
A screen recorder. Video saved.
There we go. It says my video saved and
4 close. Button.
there's close.
FM view result. Text. Digital re.
View
Ebook
result.
4 share. Button.
Share.
4 delete. Button.
Or delete it. So let's tap on view result.
4 share. FM view result.
So here
A
I
screen
am
recorder.
recording. I went back home and I'm recording.
Folder. Miscellaneous. 4 or more items.
Now I'm going to shake the phone to stop the recording. There we go. Now let's go back into AZ Recorder and do an internal recording. In other words, we're just going to capture sound that is coming internally as to coming from the speaker. So in other words, it's not going to be capturing my voice, but only capturing the sound that is coming from the phone. So for this demonstration, I'll be choosing something from the YouTube site for blind Android users. And before I do that though, I'm going to go back into AZ Recorder and set it to record internally. So let's bring up AZ Recorder.
A screen recorder.
So now I'll go into Settings.
Settings. Tab. Settings. Selected.
And tapping on Settings, we're going to go find and tap on the audio source.
Audio source. Microphone.
And we'll tap here.
Audio source. Button close. Button. Out of list.
And this time we're going to tap on Internal.
Internal audio.
Tap here.
Internal audio warning. Internal audio only works if the other apps, games allow their audio to be recorded. So if you find that your videos have no sound, please ask the owners of the other apps, games to authorize audio recording. Out of list.
So in other words, what it's saying is that there are certain apps that would not allow you to record their audio, while some of the apps would allow you to record it. So we'll go ahead and tap on OK.
Okay, but
Now I'm going to go home
screen 4 of
and
4.
I'm going to go open up the Blind Android Users podcast.
Google Assistant. Tap.
Open YouTube.
Opening.
Tap to dismiss
YouTube.
Assistant. YouTube. Cast. Disconnected. Search. Button. Search.
And I'm going to look for Blind Android Users.
Board. P. Papa. Voice input.
Blind Android Users.
2.
Let's see what we find.
YouTube. Blind Android users. In list. Navigate up. Button. Out of list. Keyboard hidden.
So here we are, and I'm going to leave this open, and I'm going to go open the AZ recorder.
Pixel launcher. A screen recorder. A screen recorder. A screen recorder.
And now let's tap on video,
Videos. Videos.
and let's tap on record at the bottom.
Record. But.
All right, so it's recording now, and I'm going to close out of
Pixel
here,
launcher. Home.
and now go bring up YouTube.
YouTube. Fix problems with Google Assistant. 64 views mid.5 days ago.
All
20
right,
minutes,
let's go ahead
32
and
seconds.
tap on
In
this
list.
one.
And now we
Video
turn
player.
to the Google
Double
Assistant,
002.
and there have been a few
Minimize.
issues
Button.
flagged on the mailing list in particular of late about the chime disappearing and perhaps the audible feedback from the assistant.
And now let's go ahead and
not
turn
being
this
what you
off and
want.
go check it
so,
out.
Warren is going to show.
Now I just shook the AZ recorder and it stopped recording, and of course it pops it up in the middle of the screen.
FM view result. Detail re.
And I'm going to
Ebook
tap on view
Edit.
result. Tap
A
here.
screen recorder. EXO player view. Friday, December 3rd.
All right, as you can hear, you cannot hear me. And so we'll wait and see when it gets to the internal recording. You can't even hear my screen recorder. And so we're waiting to see.
And now we turn to the Google Assistant, and there have been a few issues flagged on the mailing list in particular of late about the chime disappearing and perhaps the audible feedback from the assistant not being what you want. So Warren is going to...
And there you go. And that's how it goes. And that was that recording. And now you know how to go about recording internal audio or recording using your microphone. And that's AZ Recorder.
Thanks, Warren. That sounds like a pretty effective screen recording solution to me. And now you're going to demonstrate the next screen recorder from SignitiveSoft or SignitiveSoft, as you say. Difficult to pronounce, but here's that next demo.
This is demonstrating screen recorder by a developer called SignitiveSoft. That's SignitiveSoft. SignitiveSoft, or whatever. While screen recorder is one of the good screen recorders out there on the Play Store, I do not believe that it gives you that capability of recording an internal sound. In other words, while it still records what is coming from your speaker, for example, but yet at the same time, it will also be recording what is coming through externally. You'll see what I'm talking about. For today's demonstration, I'll be doing this on an older device, and that's the Pixel 2 XL from 2017. As for the voice or TTS engine, I'll be using Kindra from the back then Bright Voice Technologies, which Amazon, of course, has hogtied. I am sitting on my home screen now and will now navigate my way to where I could find the icon for screen recorder, activate it, and get going. I have cleared both the cache and storage of the app so that we'll be starting afresh. I'll now put my finger down and find screen recorder. Here is Screen Recorder.
Screen recorder, record screen and trim video. Screen recorder, web view.
I launched the app and it says Record and Trim Video. I do want to say that there's a weakness of this app that I truly don't like, and that's the fact that every single time that you launch the app, an ad appears, with an audio and all of that, as you can hear, which I had to turn the screen off. You cannot close out of that ad, and sometimes there's a close, or what you have is an install. Tapping on that install will take you to the Play Store, then you can go back. For example,
Install. Link. Details for app. Matterport capture. Play Store. Navigate up. Button.
and sometimes actually it shows you very good apps. I've seen one good app that I actually have installed.
Matterport.
So I'm going to go back,
Screen recorder.
and so I'm
Install.
back to where that ad is, and now I can hit the back button or do the back gesture, and it should be able to close out of that ad.
Allow screen recorder to access photos, media, and files on your device.
And of course, we sure do want to let it to allow access to our files, because without doing so, we will not be able to save the recordings that we made. So of course, I'm going to say allow it, or maybe allow it only while it's using the app. But in this case, is allow or deny.
Allow. Button.
Or
Deny. Button.
we don't want to do that.
Allow. Button. Screen recorder. BTN drawer. Button.
And now we are in the main UI. At the very top left corner, we have something that says BTN drawer. And it's like the navigation drawer, but there's not much in here to talk about. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Menu. Screen recorder.
When you tap on the navigation drawer, the items that you find here are the following, of no consequence.
Record screen and trim video.
There's record screen and trim video.
Rate app. Rate screen recorder on Google Play. In list. Share this app. Share screen recorder with your friends. More app. Visit our accounts to more apps.
And
About us. Check new version of app.
that's what you find here. So that's why I said it's of no consequence. I'm going to go back. At the bottom, however, we've got some tabs. As a matter of fact, I think we have 4 tabs. By default, when you open the app, it lands you in the video mode, and that's the tab that is found at the bottom leftmost corner of the phone.
Video. Tab. Selected. 1 of 4. In list. 4 items.
To the right of that,
Screenshot. Tab. 2 of 4.
screenshot, if you've captured any screenshots. Next.
Trim video. Tab. 3 of 4.
This has to do with editing the video that you've captured. And the last tab here, which we're going to go into, is the Settings tab.
Settings. Tab. 4 of 4.
Here's the settings. We'll tap here.
Settings. Selected.
Tapping on Settings, here are the items we find within the settings. We've got the following.
Audio configuration. Heading. 1 of 11.
We got a heading that says Audio Configuration, and below that we've got
Record audio. Should audio be recorded? Switch. On. 2 of 11.
and absolutely, you want to leave this on. It's on by default. Next,
Audio source. Mic. 3 of 11.
audio source, and by default, it's the microphone. Let's tap here and see what we've got.
Audio source. Default. In list.
We've got default,
Camcorder.
camcorder,
Mic. Checked.
and the mic,
Cancel. Button.
or
Out
cancel.
of list.
Those are your options. So if you don't like one, you could switch to the other. I'm going to cancel here.
Screen recorder.
Below the audio source, we've got,
Video configuration. Heading. 4 of 11.
we have the video configuration, and below that we've got,
Video encoder. Default. 5 of 11.
you've got default, or if you tap here,
Video encoder. Default. Checked. In list.
or we've got,
H264. H263. HEC. MPEG_4_SP. VP8. Cancel. Button. Out of list.
and that's the last one.
Screen.
Let's keep going.
Resolution 1080 by 1920. 6 of 11.
You could tap here and go change to a different resolution, and just keep in mind that the higher the resolution is, the bigger the file size is.
Countdown before start. 3s. 7 of 11.
So every time that you tap on start, you have 3 seconds before it starts. Next.
Countdown before start. 3s. 7 of 11. Frame rate. Higher FPS means more CPU usage. 30 FPS. 8 of 11.
And it records at 30 frames per second, but you could change it to 60 if that's what you want, which is going to be more CPU intensive. Next item.
Bitrate. 4 Mbps. 9 of 11.
That's 4 MB per second.
More. Heading. 10 of 11.
We have the more heading.
Output format. MPEG_4. 11 of 11.
If you don't like this format, you could tap here and go change it. Let's see what we have.
Output format. Default. In list.
So we've got default.
MPEG_4. Checked. 3_GBP. Web. Cancel. Button. Screen recorder.
And those are your options. I will now go back.
Screen recorder. If you like screen recorder, please give us 5-star review. Thank you.
And I'm not giving you 5-star. I wish I could, but I am just devastated by the ads.
Exit. Button.
The next thing we want to do now is to go about recording a video. And that recording button is found just above the settings, which is at the bottom right. So at the bottom right corner, we have settings, and above that is the record button. Let's now go ahead and try that.
Beat list. BTN start.
BTN start, that's button start.
Allow screen recorder to take pictures and record video while using the app. Button.
So if you have Android 10 or higher, you may have this fine granular control where you could say allow it only while you're using the app.
Only this time. Button.
Only this time.
Deny. Button.
Or deny.
Only this time. Button.
I will choose the one that says allow only when I'm using the app.
While using the app. Button. Allow screen recorder to record audio while using the app. Button.
The same kind of permission about audio, and I'm going to tap on while using the app.
Start recording or casting with screen recorder. Screen recorder will have access to all of the information that is visible on your screen or played from your device while recording or casting. This includes information such as passwords, payment details, photos, messages, and audio that you play.
In other words, if you are trying to enter a username and a password in an app, and you are using this, of course it's going to be captured, so you don't want to do that. So do not use this when you are doing something that has to do with passwords and things like that. And at the bottom, we have the cancel or the start now, and those two buttons are found toward the right in the middle, and I will now find and tap on start now.
Message. Blind. Start now. Button. Screen recorder.
Now, I think it remembered my settings from earlier on, because if you do not grant it permission to draw over other apps, it will ask you to allow it to draw over other apps. And once you tap on that, then it will take you to where you see all the list of apps that could be allowed to be drawn over other apps. And you'll tap on screen recorder and then go tap on the switch to on position from its off position. And now that we're recording, that button that says record now has changed to the stop button.
BTN stop.
So that's a stop button. Now I'm going to do something. I'm going to
Pixel
go
launch.
into a different app here and try to record something. Let's go into YouTube, for example.
YouTube. Folder.
Let's go to YouTube.
YouTube. Navigate up. Button. Blind Android users. 497 subscribers. Middle dot 300.
That is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for subscribing to the Blind Android Users podcast. Almost 500 users. That's incredible. Now, I wanted to tap on this
Blind
to
Android
play.
users podcast episode 51.
We're thankful for.
040.
And we have
Nice.
some demonstrations from Warren. So he'll be demonstrating the InWare app. He'll be showing us how to fix a few troublesome
I will
things
now
in the
stop
Google Assistant,
the recording.
and he'll be demonstrating the
Pause video.
InWare app.
Rather, I'll stop the
Home
video
screen
playback
one.
from blind Android users. Now, let's go ahead and stop the screen recorder from recording. And you could either bring up the app and go tap on the stop there just above the settings button on the bottom right, or you could just simply pull down your notification and find and tap on the stop recording. I think I'm going to do the latter, which is pulling down the notification center.
Notification shade. Recording your screen recorder. Drag down to stop the recording. Collapsed.
And we're told this is collapsed, and below that we have
Microphone. Displaying over other
microphone.
apps on your screen.
And then we have
Expand button.
expand. I could tap here
Collapse button.
and
Stop recording button.
right there on the left is the stop recording. I'll tap here.
201. Save successfully.
And it says my recording has been saved successfully. And by the
Pixel
way,
launcher.
the recordings are stored in your recordings in your internal storage. And let's go ahead and give it a quick test and see what it would
Home
sound
screen
like.
for-
So I'll go back to either my file manager, or right here, I could just open it
Screen recorder.
right here.
Screen recorder. Web view.
And of course, it brings up an ad. This time I'm fortunate though, the ad is not an audio type. And so I'm just going to hit the back
Screen recorder.
and hopefully it closes. And sure enough, it closes. And as I indicated earlier, whenever you launch the app, you are placed in the video tab. And so that's after you close out of the ad. Then if you have any video, you are shown that video near the top. So let's see if we have our video that I just recorded.
Beep list. Play video view. And stop. 1236 registered 900.
So that's a stop
Play
button.
video view.
Now, I'm gonna do
1236 registered
something
900.
else.
Pixel launcher.
Now, of course, I'm not able to get to where I could move the video because maybe the app does not allow me to use a SIG bar. But if you've chosen to open it with a different player, for example, that has the control where you have a slider, you could move it to where you want.
Blind Android users. 497 subscribers. Middle dot 300.
That is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for subscribing to the Blind Android Users podcast. Almost 500 users. That's incredible. Now, I wanted to tap on this.
Blind Android
play.
users podcast episode 51.
We're thankful for.
040.
And we have some demonstrations
Video view.
from Warren.
1236
So
registered
he'll be
974%.
demonstrating the InWare app. He'll be showing us how to fix a few troublesome
I will
things
now
in the
stop.
Google Assistant.
And that's how you go about doing that. As you can hear, is playing that video from Blind Android Users podcast. This has been Screen Recorder from SignitiveSoft. SignitiveSoft. SignitiveSoft.
And which do you prefer out of those two, Warren? Which would be your go-to option?
I think that both of these are actually excellent recorders. However, I think that the AZ recorder, the screen reader pronounces it as Arizona. The AZ recorder is a better recorder because it has one advantage over the screen recorder, because that allows you to do that internal sound recording. In other words, as you can hear in my demo, I was able to record this thing from blind Android users. And I could not do that if I was doing that with the screen recorder without it capturing my voice at the same time.
Yeah, and that's an issue with another quite good screen recorder, Minimal or NML. It's pretty accessible, but again, it will only let you record your voice. It falsely claims that it's a Google limitation that prevents you from recording internal audio. That was true up until the release of Android 10, but either Minimal hasn't been updated since then, or they haven't added that capability. Austin, I think you have a demo for us, don't you?
Yeah, I'm going to demo the Pixel screen recorder, which is coming by default with all the Pixel devices and Pixel Experience custom ROM.
So here it is. Here's the demo of the Pixel screen recorder.
This is a demo of a very simple to use screen recorder that comes by default with all Pixel devices and on Pixel Experience custom ROMs. On custom ROMs, it is on the discretion of the developer whether he includes it in his build or not. It's the Pixel screen recorder. The way you start this recorder is you have to add the tile of this screen recorder to your quick access panel, that is swiping down 2 times from the top of your screen to bring up the quick access panel. We have made a video on how to edit the quick access panel and add tiles to the panel, and that will be in the YouTube playlist. The link to the playlist for episode 52 will be in the show notes, so check that out. So let's start the demo.
Unlock. 1:40 p.m. Device unlocked. The time. Notification shade. Collapse. Off. Flashlight. Off. Auto rotate screen. Off. Do not disturb. Off. 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 Screen record. Start. Switch. Screen recorder. Start recording.
So this is the screen recorder, and it's very simple. There is no settings tab, there is no nothing.
While recording, Android system can capture any sensitive information that's visible on your screen or played on your device. This includes passwords, payment info, photos, messages, and audio.
So you need to be very careful while using these apps or any screen recorder apps. You do not want to record any sensitive information such as passwords or usernames or anything.
Drop down list, record audio, device audio.
So this is a record audio, device audio. This will record things like sound from YouTube app, sounds from games or any internal apps. It will not record a talkback.
Off, record audio, switch.
This is off, and I'll turn it on.
On. Drop down list, record audio, device audio. On, off, show touches on screen, switch.
This helps if you want to show the developer where you are touching on the screen to point out some accessibility problems with the app, or if you want to report a hardware bug to the company like ghost touches, you can even use this.
Cancel, start. 3, YouTube, 2, 1.
So
Recording screen and audio.
Talkback gives us a countdown and starts the recording and tells us that it is recording screen and audio. So let us play a video from YouTube and see what gets recorded.
Unlabeled, blind Android users, 497 subscribers. Uploads heading. Button, blind Android users podcast episode 51. Video player, double
And also
add a public comment 3 period button.
And installed module. In other words, tapping on this will install a module, and after the module is installed, if I tap on it again, it will uninstall that module. So this button should have been labeled like install / uninstall. And by the way, the button is labelable.
So that is it. I'm going
Enter full
to
screen.
stop
Next
this
video
playback.
And so I
pause
can
video button.
Talkback.
And I will also stop the screen recording. For that, you'll have to go into your quick access panel again.
143. On, connected to screencast. System off, batteries on, screen.
Now we have stopped the screen recording, and let us go and check what it has recorded.
Fix. Apps. Chrome. Dmart red. Drop. Do. Feedback. Files. File. Music. Audio. Recent. Search. Movies. Video. Video. Today. Screen -202112005-134319.mp4, 3.14 megabytes. Preview screen -202. Files by Google. 0 seconds, 1 minute and 19 seconds. 0 006. 6 seconds. Slider.
So it is not recorded talkback audio. It's not recorded my audio. It's a blank recording as of now. We'll see if it has recorded YouTube video.
and also uninstall
Yes.
an installed module. In other words, tapping on this will install a module, and after the module is installed, if I tap on it again, it will uninstall that module. So this button should have
Page 2 of 2. Navigation.
So
Video.
this only records internal audio, not talkback. It will not record your voice. If you want to record your voice, then you have to go
Pixel launch.
back into screen recorder.
151. Off. Screen record. Screen record. Drop down list. Record audio. Device. Pop up window. Device audio. Microphone.
You'll have to select either record microphone, which will record your voice,
Device audio and microphone.
or you can select both device audio and microphone, which will record device audio, your voice, everything. But this tends to get a little echoey. So either if you want to record your device audio, you can select only device audio, but selecting device audio and microphone does tend to sound a little echo. Let's see how it sounds.
Record audio. Device audio and microphone. On. Record audio. Switch.
This switch has to be on, otherwise it will not record any audio.
Off. Show touches on screen. Switch. Cancel. Start. 3. Pixel launcher. 1. Recording screen and audio.
So it has switched to phone speaker, and
Navigation
let's
bar.
go to YouTube again.
Recent apps. WhatsApp. Selectable. YouTube. YouTube. Video. Next video. But fast forward.
menu now that I'm sitting on this button to go add a label and call it install/uninstall. Let's go ahead and label that, shall we? I will now draw a line down with one finger and curve to the right to bring up the talkback menu
So we are
I can find
resuming
a tab on
the
add
same
label.
video, and
Talkback menu. Add
we'll
label.
pause it
1
now.
of 9. And list 9 items. Enter full screen. But
We are on
25
add label
next,
and our
back,
tab
pause
here.
video.
And now let us go and stop the screen recording.
Notification shade. Off. Flashlight. Off. Auto rotate screen. On. Off. Recording screen and audio. Processing screen recording. Screen recording saved. Tap to view.
If you record a long screen recording, it will take a long time to process and save. Also, this does drain your device's battery very fast. So if you are recording some long event or something, then do bring along a power bank or charger or something. Let us see this video, what it records. I'll open files.
Music. Audio. Movies. Videos. Videos. Navigate. Screen dashed. Today. Screen dash 20211205-135418.mp4 3.45 megabytes. Preview screen dash
And I will play
20211205.
this.
Files by Google. 0 second. 1 second. Slider.
to phone speaker and
Lock in landscape. But
go to
rewind
YouTube
10. Previous. Button. Pause. Button.
So it is now, as you can see, it's recorded device audio.
Menu now that I'm
So
sitting on
as you
this
can
button
see, it has
to go
recorded
add
my
label
audio and also
and call
device audio,
install
but it has not recorded
/uninstall.
talkback.
Let's go ahead and label that, shall we? I will now draw a line down with one finger.
So this is the demo of a very simple screen recorder. It's the Pixel screen recorder. I hope you enjoyed this demo.
Thanks, Austin. I've got to say I didn't, but when you had a OnePlus, did you play with that native screen recorder?
No, I did not get a chance to play with that native screen recorder.
No, I didn't either. Have you played with the one on the Samsung for your Doug?
No, not for a
No.
long time.
The
No.
Samsung one, oh, I don't know what it even is. Is there one?
Yep,
I
there
haven't
is
looked.
one. I think it's in quick settings somewhere. I think.
Yeah,
the
it's
screen
in
recorder.
quick settings and it should be on your first page of settings.
Oh, okay. I haven't
According
done that.
to mine, it hides. Let me just find it. Swipe down twice, and it should be the second icon in from the bottom right.
Okay.
Yeah, so OnePlus and Samsung owners do have inbuilt options, although we can't speak to their accessibility.
And I think that maybe the Xiaomi phones do have native screen recording capabilities. And like I said, frankly, every phone should have this. We don't need a third-party solution. But in the absence of one phone coming with a native solution, then a third-party solution would be the way to go.
Yeah, Xiaomi does have it. That's a good point. But yeah, so you do have some options, but you also have some third-party options. So interesting category of apps that you might not have thought of using, but well worth a look. And of course, they are, as we've said, just good for recording internal audio. Full stop. So as Warren said, some of them let you disable the video. So an alternative, augmented set of options from the previous voice recorders we demonstrated. And finally, for this week, we have the next in Warren's Highlights from Talkback series.
As we continue with our theme of highlights from Talkback, this is now week 16, meaning this is the 16th installment in the series. I can't believe that I've been doing this now for the past 15 weeks and today making the 16th week. In our 16th installment, I'll be talking about home screen management. And no, I am not talking about things like creating folders, adding things to folders, and removing things from within folders. That was installment 8. Today, however, what I'm talking about is how to manage things like how do I get to my home settings? In other words, I want to bring up the menu to find the home settings so I could do things like show the notification dots on my home screen or show icons of apps I installed from the Play Store. Also talking about widgets and wallpapers. And then we'll add a bonus on how to create a brand new home screen. In today's demonstration, I'll be using an older device in the way of the Pixel 2 XL from 2017 running Android 11 in conjunction with Talkback 12.1. I will also, in the way of a TTS engine, be using the Kindra voice from the back then Bright Voice Technologies, now Hogtied by Amazon. I am on my home screen, and there are 3 methods in which you could invoke or activate that home settings to where you could find things like home settings, wallpapers, and widgets. The first method would be to find a blank spot on your home screen and then long pressing that with 2 fingers. The second method would be to find, that is, if you have an icon that says Apps List or Apps Drawer, then you could invoke the Talkback menu on it and also activate it that way. The third method, of course, would be to find a blank spot on your home screen, activate the Talkback menu, and tap on Actions and go from there. I'll be demonstrating each of these by using one of the 3 items, that is, home settings, wallpapers, and widgets. As I indicated earlier, I am already on my home screen, and so I'll now put down my 2 fingers, double tap and hold, and activate these things I'm talking about. Here I go.
Home settings.
There is my home settings. And I also have
Widgets.
and
Styles and wallpapers.
that's the last one. Let's go back now to where it says home settings, and that's the first item that appears after a long press on a blank spot on my screen.
Home settings. Notification dots on in list. Home settings.
So here, depending on the launcher that you are using, you could have a choice to enable notification dots on your home screen or not. And you can turn it on or off right here. The next item we have would be
At a glance, at the top of your home screen.
At a glance has to do with things like calendar notifications that show up on the top of your screen or transportation-related things. Maybe you bought a ticket and it tells you when your flight is and all of those. That is at a glance. Let's go next.
Add app icons to home screen for new apps. Switch on.
What this is talking about is that every time that you install an app from the Play Store, an icon of the app installed gets placed on your home screen. If you do not want that, then you turn this off as it is turned on by default. Next item.
Swipe to access Google app. From home screen, swipe left to open Google app. Switch on.
This is what I call the Google Home Feed or the Google Home Discovery. That's the home page that is situated to the left of home screen 1. And not every launcher has this. Let's move to the next.
Suggestions for all apps and home screen suggestions.
Suggestions for all apps and Google Home Screen suggestions. And this has to do with things like apps that you frequently use that sometimes get placed at the bottom of your screen. In some ways, these are called the predicted apps and things like that. And also, you could find things like routines that could show up here if you turn it on. Let's go in here and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Suggestions. Navigate up. Button. Out of list.
Before I show you what these things are, or the items that are found in this one, or the switches that you could turn on or off, let me read to you what this is all about.
App suggestions are based on your recently used apps, most used apps, and routines in list.
All right, and here are the things that you could turn on or off.
Suggestions in all apps list. Switch on.
And
Suggestions on home screen. Bottom row of apps on the home screen. Switch on.
next,
Blocked apps. 7 blocked apps.
and that's it. Now let's go back to the previous page where we were.
Notification homes.
Now below suggestions of all apps we have
Allow home screen rotation. When phone is rotated. Switch OFF.
allow rotation, and this one by default, or I have switched it off and therefore it says OFF. Of course it is off. Now of course you can turn this off also in the quick panel area, but this is also found here in the home settings. The last item here in the home settings is the about.
About.
Now I will go back and utilize the second method of getting here.
Pixel launcher.
The second method is if you have an icon that says apps lists or apps drawer, then all you need to do is to invoke the Talkback menu on it and find and tap on actions. Let me now show you what I'm talking about.
Apps list.
There is my apps list, and I could invoke the Talkback menu here, or you could invoke the actions menu if you have set one up. I will invoke the Talkback menu by swiping down and curving to the right.
Talkback menu. Actions. In list.
Talkback menu comes up and says Actions. I will tap anywhere to activate that actions.
Actions. Wallpapers. In list.
We hear wallpapers instead of home settings. So we got wallpapers,
Widgets.
widgets,
Home settings.
and home settings, which gets placed in the last position. Let's go ahead and tap on wallpapers.
Wallpapers. Styles and wallpapers. Wallpaper. Out of list.
I am now in wallpapers, and here you could scroll up and down and see the different categories of wallpapers and then choose from within that wallpaper. I happen to be one of those that like to choose the solid colors and things like that, but for categories you have things like
My photos. Row 3. Column 1.
you have my photos,
Living universe. Column 2. Come alive. Row 4. Come and play. Column 2. In the shadows. Row 5. Google Arts and Culture. Column 2. Textures. Column 2. Life. Row 7. Column 1. Earth. Column 2. Art. Row 8. Cityscapes. Column 2. Geometric shapes. Row 9. Keep looking. Column 2.
keep looking,
Solid colors. Row 10. Column 1.
and there is my solid colors. So if I choose a solid color,
Solid colors. Navigate up. Button. Out of grid.
and we could have colors like
Google Blue. Row 1. Column 2. In grid. 9 rows. 3
Google
columns.
Blue,
Light blue. Column 3. Cyan. Row 2. Indigo. Column 2. Deep purple. Column 3.
and so on and so forth as you go down the list. Let's say I decide to choose Google Blue.
Google Blue. Google Blue. Google Blue.
Upon tapping on Google Blue or tapping on some other choice of your choice, toward the bottom, you're going to find some items like
Google Blue.
at the bottom, you'll find a button that says Set Wallpaper.
Set wallpaper. Button. Set wallpaper. Set wallpaper.
Upon tapping on Set Wallpaper, we are presented with 3 items or 3 choices. That is, set to only home screen, or set to the lock screen, or set to both home screen and lock screen. And here's what I'm talking about.
Home screen. Button.
There's home screen,
Lock screen. Button.
or,
Home screen and lock screen. Button.
and that's the one I choose.
Wallpaper set successfully. Pixel launcher. Photography guide 100.
And I have set my wallpaper, and now I have been returned to my home screen. The third method would be to again find an empty spot, and this time instead of long pressing with 2 fingers, simply invoke the Talkback menu. So I'll put my finger down on this home screen because I know I have a lot of blank spots here, and I am simply going to invoke the Talkback menu and bring up the menu and find the actions again.
Talkback menu. Actions. In list.
Here's Talkback menu, and I'll now tap.
Actions. Wallpapers. In list.
And here again, we have the same arrangement, just like the one we had when we invoked the Talkback menu on the Icons app. And so we got wallpapers,
Widgets.
widgets,
Home settings.
and home settings. This time we're going to look at widgets.
Widgets. Pixel launcher. 4K camera pro. In list.
So these are widgets belonging to the apps that are installed. And by the way, not every single app has a widget. Some apps have widgets and some don't. Now let's talk a little bit about what a widget is. And what a widget is an icon that makes it possible for you to do everything that you would normally do with an app after you open the app. And without opening the app, you could just do those actions or, manage that app, or normally you would do with that app by simply doing those actions there on the widget. So for example, let's say you have a music player widget, let's say Power Amp, for example, and you drag the widget of Power Amp to your home screen. From there, you could play your music, you could skip songs, you could mute songs or shuffle songs and things like that. That is actions that you could do with the app opened, but without the app opened, you'll find those buttons right there in the widgets. Now, widgets could come in sizes and shapes and things like that. Some are big, and some apps offer you both small to large to medium. And by the way, whether you choose a big widget, small or medium widget, after creating it or dragging it to your home screen, if you decide to go resize that widget, you could do so. So let's go ahead and look at the things that have widgets here. We were told that the 4K camera has a widget.
Acapella TTS voices widget. 3 wide by 1 high.
And
Around me. QR. Barcode. 2 wide by 1 high.
those are the type of things. Let's
APSR,
find one.
1 wide. Bible verse of the day. 4 wide by 2 high.
Let's say I want to choose this big one, the Bible verse of the day. And all I need to do is long press and drag it to my home screen.
Bible verse of the day. Widgets list closed. Move to row 4 column 2. Out of list. Pixel launcher. Verse of the day widget. Verse of the day widget. Transparency. White. Radio button. Checked. 1 of 2. Low light. Radio button. Not checked. 2 of 2.
And I could choose how it looks. I tap here.
Checked. Transparency. Out of lit. Switch. Off. On. Version. Niv. Save. Button.
And I could tap on save.
Version. Niv.
See, the versions here is whether NIV. If I want NIV by default, which it is set to, I leave it at this. If it's not what I want, then I tap here and choose a different version. And now,
Save.
tap
Button.
on save.
Pixel Launcher. Move to row 4, column 2.
Now, here's my widget.
Verse of the day. Ephesians 2:8-9 Niv. 8:4 is by compare versions.
Compare versions,
BTN settings. Button. Text.
settings.
BTN image share. Button. BTN share. Button.
So you have all of those buttons here without actually opening the app. And that's what a widget would be. Now, if I want to resize this widget for some reason, if I find it to be taking too much space on my home screen or whatever, and I want to resize it, then all you have to do is highlight it, focus on it, bring on the Talkback menu, find the actions, tap on it, and choose to resize the widget. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Verse of the day. Ephesians. Talkback menu. Actions. In list. Actions. Remove. In list.
I could remove the widget,
Move item.
move it,
Resize.
or resize it, or
Cancel.
cancel.
Out of list.
Let's say I want to remove it.
Remove. Item removed. Pixel Launcher.
And now my widget for the Bible verse of the day is gone. The last thing I would like to talk about is creating a new home screen. And you can create a new home screen provided you have an existing home screen, of course, which we all do. So I am now on the 4th home screen. And if I want to create a 5th home screen, then I have one of 2 methods. The first method would be to long press an icon, move it to the edge of the screen, and that automatically advances me to a new home screen. In this case, that will be home screen 5. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to find an icon here on the 4th home screen, long press on it, drag it to the right edge of the phone.
Screen recorder. Pause app. New homes. Move to row 4, column 5.
So you hear new home screen there,
5 of 5.
and I moved it all the way to column 5.
Screen recorder.
If I swipe from the middle of the phone to go back to the previous home screen,
Home screen 4 of 5.
and if I swipe from right to left to go to the next home screen,
Home screen 5 of 5.
there's my 5th home screen. I will now move this icon back to home screen 4 by the same method, that is holding down and long pressing. And this time, instead of dragging it to the right edge of the phone, I will drag it to the left edge of the phone to take me back to home screen 4.
Screen recorder. Move to row 4, column 5. Item moved. Apps list. Home screen 4 of 4.
I now moved it back to where it was, and I am on home screen 4 of 4, not 4 of 5. The second method of creating a home screen is similar in the sense that you need to highlight an icon. But this time, instead of long pressing and dragging, we will simply focus on an icon and then invoke the Talkback menu or an Actions menu and go tap on Move Item. So I will now focus on an icon. This time, let's focus on a different icon.
VLC.
Let's focus on VLC. And I'll invoke my actions by swiping left, right, or you could invoke the Talkback menu by simply drawing that line down and curving to the right and tap on Actions. And after that, you'll find where it says Move. Well, let me just show it to you using the Talkback menu.
Talkback menu. Actions. In list.
Let's tap.
Actions. Shortcuts and notifications. In list.
We've got shortcuts and notifications, but what we're looking for is Move Item.
Move item.
Tap.
Pixel Launcher. Remove. Out of list. Create folder with Pocketbook.
Now that I have tapped on Move Item and I'm on the home screen 4, I want to create home screen 5. All that I need to do at this moment is simply swipe right with 2 fingers from the midsection of the phone, and that will automatically move me and create home screen 5. I show you what I mean. And now I'll put my finger down.
Move to row 2, column 2. Item moved. Home screen 5 of 5, VLC.
There we go, and I have created my 5th home screen, and all that I have here is a lonely icon called VLC. And that's how you go about setting up the home screen, wallpapers, or widgets.
Thanks, Warren. It's interesting. We had a lively debate off air about whether it was sensible to access home screen settings this way from your home screen, or whether they ought to be in system settings. I think Doug, Fee, and I thought that they should find themselves in system settings. Warren, you thought, didn't you, that accessing from the home screen was the way to go because they relate to the home screen. Austin, how do people get in touch with us?
So people can visit us on the website blindandroidusers.com. They can send us their questions by email, contact us at blindandroidusers.com, or fill the feedback form on our website. They can send their Android journey stories to myandroidjourney at blindandroidusers.com, or come live and present your Android journey on one of our episodes. They can subscribe to us on a mailing list, Blind Android Users, plus subscribe at groups.io, and the Telegram group, Twitter, Clubhouse, and YouTube links are in the show notes, which are on our website and also in our YouTube videos, so they can check them out. That is it from us this week.
Thanks very much, everyone, for listening. We'll be back next week, but we really hope you join us in a couple of weeks for that 1-year anniversary. See you soon, folks.
Adios, amigos. Y
Later.
amigas. And that has been another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. As always, we appreciate hearing from you. You send those email messages to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. For those My Android Journey stories, we encourage you to send those to myandroidjourney at blindandroidusers.com. Until we see you in our next episode, you have a wonderful day.